Well, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. It's a Friday. We thank God for it. Dr. Jide Johnson is one of my guests, and I always say, why do we make a special thing about TGIF and not TGIM for Monday, T for Tuesday, W, TGIW? Why do we just wait for Friday?
Everybody loves Friday. Friday is the weekend. Friday is the weekend, and being the weekend, it's time to relax, and relaxation is good for the body. You know, there's
you
this
say that
nursery rhyme we used to say: "All work and no play
makes talk about a dull boy." Remember back in the day, there was also a song, a very popular song at the time. Everybody loves Saturday night.
Yeah, Saturday night.
There you go.
Saturday night is for grooving. It's for grooving, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Here we are now. Thank you very much, Dr. Jide Johnson, for coming along. We also have on the set today Comrade Bala Saka. Comrade Bala Saka is a man of many parts. At one time, he's a geologist, he's a petroleum engineer, he's a commentator on the oil landscape, you know, a crude landscape, and generally he's a valuable person to have this morning. Good morning, Comrade Bala Zaka, and I will say Barka this the Jumat.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir.
And the Jumat one here, you took
everything, and I salute your viewers across the globe. Thank you, sir.
Indeed. Yes, well,
sir.
I like the spirit because we started off on a bright note. Now, let's see if it can be dampened. Not that I want to dampen it,
yes, sir.
But as you know, Hamid Ali, Controller General of Customs, when he was at the House of Representatives the other day, the Committee on Finance, I don't know if to call it a bombshell, but he did drop something, and he said, hang on, NNPC Limited's figures simply do not add up. They don't add up. Somebody's got to convince me. And for those of us that know pretty little about it, by the time he did the analogy of how many tankers it would require, we just grab hold of that one because we don't know very much about it, but we got to interrogate that particular one, say, it just doesn't add up. The amount of liters of fuel that is said to be disappearing into thin air just doesn't add up. Now, let me start on this matter with, if it's okay, let me start with you, Comrade Bala Zaka.
Thank you, sir.
The charge specifically that the figures don't add up, that government is intending to rely upon, because we're talking about the proposed budget, 11 trillion deficit, and we know Colonel Hamid Ali, retired, was querying those figures. What's he on about? Do you think there's anything at all to it?
Well, first of all, when he was querying, I need to get certain things clear before I hit to the left or to the right. Was he querying whether that the quantity was too small or the quantity was on the high side? That's my question, but I want it clarified. But honestly, as I speak to you now, I will want you to quote me that I said, considering the level of carelessness in Nigeria, considering the level of moral insolvency, a moral bankruptcy of some Nigerians and some Nigerian leaders. Quote me that I said, if the crude oil and gas that we were having in Nigeria today were not to be a God-given natural resource, it will have disappeared from Nigerian reservoirs into the reservoirs of nations that are more organized.
Okay.
Quote me that I said so. Just like the vegetation that we have in Nigeria today, the green lands that we are having in Nigeria today, and our complaint of hunger and lack of food security, if it were not to be natural gift from nature, they will have disappeared to other countries. Just as I speak to you, there are some countries that are landlocked. But look at the rivers, look at the streams, look at the oceans. If some countries were to have what we were blessed with, if it were not to be a natural resource, I'm telling you, the rivers will have disappeared to more organized countries and more focused leaders. So coming to the point we're discussing, we're talking about energy security here. As far as I am concerned, if anybody tells me that Nigeria is consuming 100 liters of PMS in particular, I will not doubt it at all.
Okay.
And the reasons are simple. Before I got here, you see shops open, you see barbers working, you see hairdressers working, you see banks working. There is no energy, there is no electricity. Many people cannot afford this diesel that we are talking about. Even in Lagos, that is the commercial hub of the continent of Africa, banks are now shutting down at as early as 1 p.m. Some banks don't open. What we are saying,
but as you said, the diesel cannot be, it's not affordable to most. But we're not talking about diesel here.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody is going back to petrol. So the consumption is huge. So the consumption is huge.
So you think that almost 100 liters, which is the claim, that 98 million liters of fuel every day.
Yeah, like the other day, they said the minister said, oh, the consumption was high. And I said, with due respect to the minister for finance, all those adjoining places she sees at night looking lit. They are not looking lit because there is electricity. They are not looking lit because there is petrol, diesel. All of them are looking for energy source and they are using generators, and those generators are running on petrol. So when we get to smuggling, we can discuss the aspect that has to do
exactly
with him.
Because it was also part of the claim of the NNPC that a lot of fuel, is actually being smuggled out. And as you know, the question has come about that, how will, I mean, he just made it seem ludicrous that you can't have a whole convoy of trailers. What roads will they pass through? That was the way he was going. But in relation to a part of what Bala started off with, he said that such a figure was not feasible. You know, I'm quoting him directly now from our newspaper reports, unless the NNPC is saying that Nigerians fuel their tanks, the tanks of their cars every day. There is no way 60 million liters of fuel can be consumed daily without the figure changing.
Now, you know, it is sad that we have found ourselves in the situation we have found ourselves in, and the easiest excuse that has been given by those that have headed NNPC, that is a state institution that is beyond the state, that is bigger than the state, that has no level of accountability, fiscal responsibility, that has no record, is that the challenges they are having is that the products are being smuggled. Now, according to claim of NNPC, you recall about, I think in beginning of this week or late last week, the NNPC GMD was at the State House to give a press conference talking about what they are doing concerning the privatization, concerning what they will do moving forward, and the challenges they are having, and what they are going to do to secure the pipelines and the rest of it. Now, if we consume 98 million as what NNPC released,
yes,
and Nigerians are consuming 60 million daily according to their record. Now you are now shifting the blame, and that's why immediately you are shifting the blame that there is an agency of government that is responsible to protect what comes in
and that has been
and what goes out. Now you are making Ahmed Ali and his agents to be complicit. And that's why Ahmed Ali said, you cannot justify, and we need these interagency checks and balances and accountability. From what Ahmed Ali has said, it's very clear that something is wrong somewhere. Because I fueled my car every Sunday. I fill the tank.
Okay, that happens to be your habit.
That's my habit.
Yes.
I fill it every Sunday. That's when I fill the tank to the brim.
Now, sorry,
based on what?
One second. Ali says, you know, in the report that, quote, from this information, NNPC is claiming that 38 million liters of fuel are smuggled out. It'll take 500 trucks to smuggle that quantity of fuel out of Nigeria. Which roads do they pass without being caught?
Exactly. That takes the rule of custom. If they are passing through Nigeria, they'll pass through the borders. You are now telling that custom is failing to do what they are supposed to do. And at least we need this type of cross-firing from agencies of government. Now, it has thrown light to, because he's asking the question, how do you justify the 11 trillion? We have removed subsidy from other products. We have removed from diesel. Like he said, which is the truth, most organizations are converting back to petrol gen now, because it is cheaper and better for you to use petrol gen than for you to use
the diesel one. Even though it's said to be more powerful and industrial.
More powerful and industrious. So that brings the challenge. Who pays for this 11 trillion subsidy? That's the question Ali is asking.
Indeed.
And that question needs to be put across to them.
And Ali also remarked that here we are discussing this at the House of Representatives again this year. He said he recalls that last year we discussed this whole subsidy thing, and as far as he's concerned, it's more of a sham than anything else.
Okay, now I will talk on the side of Ali, even though he used a phrase or a word there, not feasible. You see, let's take it. I'm happy we're discussing as Nigerians. Yesterday, around this time, I was on an international media organization, and we were discussing. In fact, I was rubbished because we were discussing about aviation fuel, airlines, and the rest. With all my knowledge in the oil and gas industry, I was rubbished. But let us discuss Ahmed Ali now. What we are hearing about smuggling, as far as I'm concerned, quote me, is just one of the many lies people like me said we are always being proffered to justify deregulation, to justify removal of subsidy on the price of the only product that is remaining. Because we've removed subsidy on the price of kerosene, diesel, aviation fuel, and we've not seen anything. Before now, there were discussions, lies that if we remove, the prices were going to be competitive, we were going to see investors. One investor hasn't come. So when they were talking about, when the many lies were coming, one of the lies was that we were losing to smugglers. Before we knew what was happening, they said there were so many Nigerians having so many cars. We later discovered these things were lies. They later came up and said, okay.
Lies or inaccuracies.
Okay, inaccuracies. Then they later told us that they were going to give us that the cars we are having in Nigeria were internal combustion engine cars. They were going to give us gas-driven cars. We discovered those things couldn't hold water or even hold gas. They tied everything to coronavirus. We discovered coronavirus days are gone. Other economies are ramping up and requiring energy. So they meandered, and they have not moved and are tying things to even Ukraine-Russian hostilities. The truth as we speak today is that the Nigerian oil and gas industry is not doing well. The model we are using is the wrong one, and if we continue this on this track, in fact, we are already at the cliff edge. Very soon, the country will sink into the valley. And the answers are straightforward also. Look at Nigeria as we speak. Nigeria is a member of OPEC. No OPEC nation today or member countries endowed with crude oil and gas are complaining. And most of them have state-owned functional refineries. Rather, this is the time of Udoji for them. This is the time of boom, because there is energy crisis. Just imagine, and let me tell you, in the course of my discussion with somebody from an international finance corporation, an international financial institution, he said even if Nigeria refines internally, that what we are going to be saving may just be 5 naira per liter. And I said, oh, so there will even be savings. Thank you, sir. Assuming the consumption of petrol we are having of 70 million liters per day, since you say we can even save, which means if we are refining...
They said 60. They said 60
okay,
million.
even if it is 60. But you said we can even save 5 naira per liter. So which means if we are refining internally every day, we are going to save 5 naira times 60 million liters. That means we are going to save 300 million naira. Multiply that by savings in a week. Multiply that by savings in a month and a year. So will I be right if I said there is a collusion or connivance to make sure Nigeria does not even refine and produce distillates, then I also told them again, I said, many of you are just telling Nigeria to continue on the wrong track. Why not ask or discuss with our Nigerian leaders, since some of you have access to them, and tell them that let Nigerian leaders for once imagine that those countries that are every day selling 60 million liters of PMS, so million liters of diesel, so million liters of kerosene to Nigeria. Imagine how much they are making from Nigeria.
Indeed.
Why can't Nigeria be the one selling to the other nations?
On that point, what do you think, Jide? Because Colonel, Ali, retired, he also asked the question, look, NNPC says it is, putting out there 98 million. It also is saying that 60 million of that is consumed by Nigerians. So the question is, why are you doing that? Why are you putting out 98 million? Why is the system allowing this if it is 60 million that we are producing? And then let's talk about the difference of 38. So it seems that he's broken it down to such a, if you want, simplistic level, so that people who don't even know very much about it can ask these questions. But you know what? That's a good one. Why don't you answer that? You say 60 million, right? Then why are you putting out 98 million consistently and then claim that it is stolen, it is smuggled out? Where are they smuggling it out from?
I didn't know whether it was the Chief of Naval Staff that made a statement, but one of the naval, I can't recall,
yes,
chiefs made a statement that Nigerian crude oil was being stolen and vessels were being arrested without having papers. And then after the vessels have been arrested, papers will be sent indicating that those vessels have license to. It was last week. It was last week that this chief made that statement. These people are committing crime against humanity. They are committing crime against the state, and such level of crime should be treated as treason and felony. But what do we have? It seems they are untouchable.
Those involved.
With those involved, because if you look at those that have been consumed by crisis in the energy sector, particularly NNPC, as of Rep members, some that have gone to jail in terms of doing oversight function, in terms of collecting money for their failure to do what they are supposed to do, then you begin to wonder what is really wrong with NNPC. And I think that the best approach for us, for NNPC, is to go the NITEL way. Imagine if we still have NITEL as NITEL used to be, without us having full privatization of the telecom sector. What do you think? Liberalization. What do you think will the telco industry be? We have seen other actors participating in it. Like he pointed out, Aramco is a state-owned oil company. Petronas, Aramco is for Saudi Arabia. Petronas is for Brazil. And then you wonder, even Venezuela that had internal crisis, that do not have what you can call, quote unquote, the Western democratic model, is not even having the issues we are having with the kind of oil theft and pillage that we have in the Nigerian sector.
Indeed.
See,
yes.
Let me tell you.
Do you want to help shed a bit of light on that whole question about the difference between 98 million lifted and 60 million used, and that balance of 38 million?
Yes. I'm somebody who tries to be very, very objective before I support any government leader or any government appointee. But on this case, or in this case, I am on the side of Ahmed Ali. But do you know the reason is because smuggling was one of the reasons that were presented to want to justify increase in the price of petrol, because we were told that the petrol was always being smuggled to neighboring countries because it was cheaper there, and if we up our price to equilibrate theirs, then there will be no smuggling. And I said, it's just like you saying, if you are providing, before you provide food, nutritious food to your children, you must look at the kind of food and the quality of food that your neighbor is eating before you just. How can you say because you are suspecting smuggling, so the only way to stop smuggling is to up the price of refined petroleum products here, and imported one for that matter, to be the same with country XYZ, and in that case you are going to discourage smuggling. You see, that was why you said I should use one of the. I wanted to use the word lies, and you said I should use one of the inaccuracies. So they were many.
Because please, I'm trying to
sir, with due
find
respect,
my way around.
With due respect, if you look at Nigeria, honestly, so many shameful things are happening about this country. But till today, we are still being seen as the continental hub for the continent of Africa in terms of energy, in terms of education. But we are not doing well. Because if you are talking like this about distillates, what about the entire oil and gas industry? As I'm speaking to you now, quote me that I said, in the whole of Nigeria today, we don't have up to 15 active drilling rigs. And if you don't have active drilling rigs, how can you drill? How can you get into the reservoirs? How can you produce crude oil? How can you meet up with your OPEC quota? How can you even meet up with your budget volume to make sure you breach budget deficit? So when you look at it, there are so many things that you cannot explain. And do you know that until probably 2 months ago, a Nigerian was the person, late Alhaji Sanusi Barkindo, was the person presiding over that OPEC. A whole cartel. And it is only in your own country that you have a principle of you are producing so much beans, but if you need to eat akara or moi moi, you will go and buy from an outsider that does not produce beans.
Okay.
Or you want to
one moment. Let me bring in Fidel. Good morning, Fidel. Thank you for holding on. Go right ahead now.
Thank you very much. I expect the Nigerian Customs to live up to expectation. They shouldn't, if what should bother them is protecting our borders, whether NNPC claims are correct or not. But in this country, we have not taken the oil sector seriously. We must grant license to individuals to run modular refineries or even some organizations and make sure that we ensure the supply of these products. And our refineries must be made to work. We have not given it attention. That is why we are suffering. It's like some people are really benefiting from importation. And it does not go well for the development of this country. Let us do something and improve the oil sector. Thank you. I'm Fidel Onyeneke.
Thank you very much for calling in, Fidel. Well, I wonder if you were saying that largely customs should stay in its lane. Seems to be, but...
There is an interrelationship that exists among...
There's a connection, really.
Agencies of government. And don't also know that custom is a revenue-generating agencies of government. And
they say they are on track to continually increase receivables.
If you do a comparative analysis of customs contribution to the Nigerian economy in terms of the revenue they bring in and what NNPC has done, you discover that custom is even more accountable than NNPC. You see, what we are saying is this: Nigeria is a monoproduct economy, and your economy is built on your energy. And because it's built on your energy, it should be the drivers of other sectors. However, if what you based your economy on is imported, like you use the illustration of beans and akara, it's very clear for an average, when we begin to talk the technical terms. But when the NNPC, when the custom Control General made his illustration, an average person on the street could understand it. Just like your beans and akara illustration. It opened a perspective to, why would you have beans and be importing akara and moi moi when from people that don't have beans? It means that something is wrong somewhere, and some people are making money from this system, and they will never make it to work.
Indeed. One moment. Bernard in Enugu. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Uncle Yoli.
Good morning. Go ahead, please.
And good morning to the guests in the studio.
Sure.
I think my contribution goes this way. Unless we have a functional refinery in Nigeria, we are not going to make a headway. That is what the present administration promised us, and we supported them that they should come, because the previous government, the president has been the Minister of Petroleum, and still, it's not that we don't have money. There are money, but they have been shifted to other sectors. If we cannot build refineries, let us support the state or those modern refineries to work, so that if the refinery work in Nigeria, this loss for dollar will reduce, and Nigeria will gain its value, and things will relatively be okay in Nigeria. So if the government didn't do it, we will pray that the successive government, the one that is coming, will do so that the things will be better for Nigeria. That refinery is a key factor. I will not have it. There will not progress in Nigeria. That's my contribution. Thank you.
Indeed. Thank you very much. Indeed, going back to, I think it was Fido, I think, who brought it up about customs staying in their lane. Well, as we said, there's an interconnection. The customs boss has said that the customs is doing its best to do its job. He says the service has generated 1.167 trillion as of July this year, naira, and that it has projected to generate the sum of 2.872 trillion, and after that, even higher. So it seems it's focused, it knows what it's doing, but he seems to be coming against muddying the waters with
custom is just being dragged, and I'm happy for the first time the custom wants to pull itself out. And let me explain this simple thing to you. You see, between you and I, with due respect, and I'm happy to say this, I have never had any relationship with government. I've not worked for government. I'm not a politician. I wasn't in government scholarship, so I can talk with all amounts of confidence. But I had the opportunity of attending courses within Nigeria and overseas with so many NNPC staff. Let me tell you, they are as intelligent as you and I. What we are having is leadership issue. What we are having is political interference. And for the purpose of discussions, this is the way I want to define leaders. As far as I'm concerned, leaders are Nigerian citizens that other Nigerians like you and I decided to hand over our economic, political, and social destiny for them to manage for us in national interest.
Indeed.
And to be honest and to be fair to some of us Nigerians, our leaders have not been doing the right thing. Not all of them. Because you're talking about a country where the last time we constructed a refinery was around 1989 or 1990. And you're talking about like 30 years now. The generation of leaders we've been having didn't deem it fit to maintain the refineries they inherited or even build new ones. Do we need anybody to tell us that we're going to run into energy crisis? Between 1990 and now, strategic industrial sectors have been increasing. Strategic domestic and commercial sectors have been and they will require energy. The population of Nigeria has been increasing. And you're talking about a country of like 200 million citizens relying on less than 10,000 megawatts of electricity. We're not talking about a country of 5 million or 20 million citizens. Do we need anybody to tell us that there will be energy crisis? Okay, let's say the military were illiterates, they didn't know what they were doing. But what about from 1999 to now? Even if we were building constructing one refinery in 10 years, by now we should be able to have 2 brand new refineries. And if those OPEC countries, Brazil, Norway, Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, Libya, Iran, Iraq are having functional and state-owned refineries, are we saying they are fools?
Okay.
And if they are not fools, who is the fool here?
Keep your gunpowder dry because I know you want to come in. Let me take a quick break. Come back. There will be less interruptions. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. If you've just joined us, we're looking at petrol smuggling as it was discussed in the House of Representatives day before yesterday, I believe, with the customs boss Hamid Ali saying that he seriously doubts the figures proffered by NNPC. They just don't add up. Mr. Adisa in Oshodi, good morning and thank you for holding on right through the break. Go on now, please.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Yori.
Good morning.
Okay, good. Yeah, I love this topic because I listened to the custom boss yesterday, and his analysis was very simple. very straightforward when he was doing analysis of how can you be bringing in 60 million on daily basis. Have you finished the one previous? So, but where I want to come in is this. We have a very unserious country. And then that is why 2023 election is not about individuals. We have a faulty system. Now, if government are very serious about this fuel of a thing, if it cannot offer modular refinery to individuals, why can't there be a law? That's why sometimes I look at these people in our National Assembly, I was like, these people are not representing the people because we don't understand. If you are not certain of individual having modular refinery, why can't you license modular refinery to a state government? We have 36 state governments in this country. Why can't each state government can have at least 2 modular refinery or 3 or whatever that can at least cushion the effect of importing fuel? So this is why I come in. I don't understand the kind of government we want.
Indeed.
So it's not all about individuals. It's about the constitutions we are running. It's so faulty. Look, I'm not obedient. Sorry to bring in politics. I'm not obedient. It's not my candidate. I have my personal candidate. I'm going to vote for 2023. But sometimes I have this impression, I wish Obi can win this election. So that majority of these youth that are talking about is about one individual will know this country is not about individual. We have a system that is faulty. We have a system that allows people to siphon money. We have a system that allows people to say, oh, we cannot find our record because Snake have eaten the record because we put the container outside and over the time rain have spoiled the document. We have a very faulty system that cannot allow states to have its own electricity. We have a system whereby state is controlling local government. We have a system whereby you are a public servant, but your children cannot attend that public school. So we have a lot of faulty systems. Not until we correct this system. Yesterday I was watching Al Jazeera. There's this country, one Caribbean country, they are trying to do a new constitution. I don't know why Nigeria cannot have a new constitution. I don't know why we cannot have a referendum for a new constitution.
Okay, Mr. Adisa, I want to thank you very much for calling in. Effectively, he's saying in there that we have a messed up system.
Correct.
And, we have a messed up system. Things just are not applying logically. During the whole financial era, we heard about round tripping. There are people who are saying that round tripping is also involved here. It's not so much that we don't know what to do, but interests are being protected by the chaos we have now.
That's taking a cue from what Bala said with leadership and what our last caller said. It all boils down to leadership. Which country in the world do you see engages in the way we run our economy, the way we run our fiscal policy, the way we run our monetary policy? Where in the world do you see people selling money on the street that you exchange? Where? I've asked people this several times. Everything boils down to leadership. Because it's easier for people, like he said, 1989 to date, we have not constructed any refinery. If we do one in the last 10 years, you have 3. If you have 3, at least we should, as a matter of fact, have at least 1 refinery in one of the geopolitical zones. If we have started that every time since the beginning of this present administration, that every 4 years, we will do that. We'll have got it across all the 6 geopolitical zones by the expiration of this present administration in 2023. I think the challenge is this should be part of the conversation moving forward for those that are running for public offices in 2023. They should make pronouncement. And I'm asking our colleagues that are watching this, we should make this to be a topical issue. That we ask, what are you going to do with respect to our energy security?
Okay, Mohammed
so
in
that
Abuja
we can hold them
join the conversation
with respect to that.
Mohammed in Abuja, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, I agree with you, I guess, all of them. More especially the comrade, I agree with him. And I just want to ask him to please convince his people to vote for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because Dangote himself, he said that he successfully put this refinery in Lagos because of Tinubu. Tinubu is the only person that supported him single-handedly to put that structure in Lagos. So let him know that if Tinubu come in as a president, he will repair all the refineries. The 4 refineries we are having, And then the one in Lagos will be the center, the distributor of all the refined products we will have in Nigeria. So let him convince his people, and then let us see that this is the man for now. And he can testify that because he knows how Lagos is working. And I'm not saying it because I'm a bias or whatever. Dangote said it in a public gathering that it's Tinubu that helped him to put what he has today in Lagos. Right. He said it everywhere. It's in the paper, it's in the news, it's in the YouTube. You will see it. You go to YouTube, you will see it, you will check, it's there.
All right,
let him convince his people to vote for it. And then finally, Yuri.
Go on. Oh.
Have you gotten it?
You said finally. What is finally?
Yeah, my question that I wanted to ask that man yesterday. Have you gotten the answer?
Yesterday? Oh, okay. Some other time. Thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed, calling in from Abuja. Okay. You know, news is a day by day. This is a fresh day. But thank you very much.
Yeah. No, I just wanted, we thank everybody. You see, like we
How about that whole
said,
question about this could be a setup, round tripping, it's benefiting some people. It's not that we don't know what to do, but we don't want to do it.
You see, let me explain it. You see, I appreciated what he said about individuals. Individually, Nigeria is great. We know that. I mean, Nigerians are great. But the only thing is, if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go collectively. We want to go far as Nigerians. We are a country of about 200 million citizens. We have what it takes to control the economic strength and power of the continent of Africa. But the only way we can be respected is if we show that when it comes to academics, Nigeria will be number one. When it comes to oil and gas, Nigeria will provide the leadership. When it comes to sports, Nigeria will be there. When it comes to checking corruption, militancy, and rascality, Nigeria has control mechanisms. So what I want to say again
but we don't deploy them.
No, we don't deploy the mechanisms.
But we don't deploy them.
Exactly.
Okay, 1 minute. Let me bring Ada in. Ada is calling from Jos. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Mr. Yuri and your guest there. Ada calling in from Jos. Mr. Yuri, you see, the problem we have in Nigeria is systemic. If the system is the way it is, no matter whom we bring there, we will still have the same problem, except if the person comes in and decides with the National Assembly we're going to have, the 10th National Assembly, and there won't be a rubber stamp. By God's grace, with the kind of scenario we are seeing now, it's likely that we're going to have more than 6 or 7 political parties with more than 5 members from each party, so it will be a spread. So there can't be room for this kind of being a rubber stamp again. That's my prayer. So now, but the thing now is corruption is the major problem. How can you explain how a Norwegian vessel came in, very big Norwegian vessel came in here, and they were able to steal that much crude, and nobody, saw it. All the people who are supposed to man that place, even the naval staff that was telling us that we should hold NNPC responsible and the civil servants for all these oil steps and all that corruption going on. My question was that among those people that are supposed to even man the creeks, what of the Navy? Is the Navy not among? So why is everybody passing the buck? You know? So that's the problem. Now we are now in a poverty trap. I have a feeling that if we restructure, it will be better. Because everybody will now control his resources and pay tax to the center, and they will secure the place. That's why when they said they are giving the securing of the place to pull or whatever, as in the Niger Delta, it makes sense. And then, but you have to, reach out to the other militants because they are all grumbling now. So that's another issue. Then the state police. Let us decentralize the security architecture in this country. That is the problem we have. We don't want to do the right thing. Okay. And then we keep on talking about it. The matter the refinery is revealed. So long as the people behind it are not ready to have a change of heart, we're not going to get anywhere.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Ada. It's systemic, according to Ada.
Yeah.
The people that know what to do not want a change of heart. They want the status quo because it is clearly benefiting sections of the society.
Uncle Yori, more than 20 years ago, my pastor said, if you take Nigerians away from Nigeria, you take them to America, and you take all of Americans and you bring them to Nigeria, in 20 years, America will look like Nigeria and Nigeria will look like America. It boils down to the people, collectively. There's no one individual that can change this country. In 1999, they went and brought Obasanjo out of prison. In 2015, Buhari ran with the change mantra. This is what we are experiencing. Until we have a systemic change, the structure we have, Nigerian president is the most powerful president ever in the world. By design, Nigerian president is an emperor. By design, the Nigerian governors are premiers. Because the state house of assembly don't exist, local government don't exist. Even there's a story to that effect, that state governments are even against autonomy. Until we allow each region, each state to control the resource that we have, we will not be able to police the resources that we have.
Okay.
Until we have that resource control, the issue of this corruption will still be a major factor. Because the political will.
Thank you for holding on.
Good morning, Prof. Good morning. The registrar itself is talking. When the registrar is on board and the Prof is on board, they're talking. The other supposed to start. Good morning, Prof. Registrar, good morning, Sayori. You see, this issue of oil theft, whether smuggling or not smuggling, let us ask ourselves a question. Do they smuggle oil with a rubber, that swan water bottle? Is it not pipe, dross, and the rest? Now, there's no way an outsider will come there and smuggle this without the consent of the people within the environment. And there is no way, whether nephew, DSS, police, or army officer, everybody is part and parcel of the business. At the end of the day, look, let us face it, because the research has shown that all these people they parade on television every day are people that refuse to dance to the tune. Let us face the reality of life. And you cannot stop oil smuggling. Thank God that the federal government said Tompolo, let him come with his boys and man this system. Fine. But the question is this. The quantity of oil that they steal in Nigeria, they said is higher than the one they extract. Now, the ones they have been extracting and selling now, where is the money? At the end of the day, Nigeria will continue borrowing. Today, I don't know. At the time, they will mortgage everybody, both the newborn baby and the 1 year to born mortgage with foreign IMF or World Bank. I don't know where Nigeria will be headed to. But the question is the way forward. Thank God that the federal government have come back to this. Some people that are giving Tompolo the job, it's a sort of a political business to bring them to the limelight, whether it's true or not. That was notwithstanding. But the question is this. Oil is produced in Nigeria, the crude oil. And crude oil, you produce over 6,000 byproducts from crude oil. Now, look at today in Nigeria, gentlemen, my brothers and sisters. A liter of kerosene in Nigeria is 850 a liter. Now, people are passing up the kerosene that 80% of Nigeria is higher than the petrol and the diesel.
It's messed up.
Look,
it's messed up.
You're
right.
Or not,
Mazi Okorafor, thank you very much for calling in. Appreciate your call.
Sir, what everybody is discussing now has been part of what I have been praying for. I've always said, government appointees, don't allow any particular government to come and destroy your image or credibility, because you are going to have a day with history. Posterity will tell, and we will know whether history will vindicate you or not, because governments will come and go. So what people like me recommend is this. Even if you are a government appointee and you find out that something is not going in synergy with what you are expecting to do, or your philosophy, especially objective philosophy, say it out. Back to the issue of smuggling. I think like 10 kilometers or 20 kilometers to a border, there is not supposed to be even a filling station. So when you say this smuggling is taking place through the borders, how? And I know some of us know that the security agents at the borders, whether immigration or customs, if you infringe, they have the right to even shoot you.
But
so something is wrong there. And the same thing will
do they work like that? Do they actually work like that?
Even when you have internal indiscipline, is a different thing. Okay. But the principle and the basis are there. It's the same thing with crude oil theft. I mean, we were told that we lose about 400,000 barrels per day. People will think it's a few buckets of water. But when you change the 400,000 to gallons, to liters, you are talking about 2,000 tankers of crude oil per day. And you're talking about 33,000 liter tankers. That can only be a well-crafted and a well-syndicated criminality.
Okay.
Not associated with petty thieves.
Elder David in Alimosho, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Sir Yori. God bless you, sir.
Thank you.
We thank God. This your topic is very interesting. This refinery we are talking about was built so many years ago. So many government has come in place. We are not able to do it. But today we thank God. God has been Messiah, who are now doing it. 1999, PDP government voted money. We all know, you know, every Nigerian that listening to me know that. They could not achieve any success. Today, it's taking place in Lagos. As why do American people make it possible? Let me mention name. That what that man cannot told you, everybody know who listens to me. Buhari government make it possible. It's only 7 years in government. May God bless Nigeria.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Elder David. Thank you very much, Elder David. People are, well, there's sort of looking into the future. But I think the point that's been made here, and also from our guests, is that Ada said it last. You know, so maybe somebody said it before then, but she said it last, that it's a systemic issue. It's a systemic thing. You then follow that up with the example of take Nigerians to the U.S., bring U.S. here. So the system here, once you've taken the people out,
whoever becomes the president, have you ever seen any president since 1999 that has taken constructive step to change the structure of the government he inherited? The structure of government. Have you ever seen? They will speak about it when they are seeking for elective offices. When they get there, they will further reinforce. The system we have was meant to perpetuate Abacha in office. It was a byproduct. The 1999 Constitution as amended was a byproduct of 1995 Constituent Assembly, which was meant to perpetuate Abacha in power. That is why till date, Abacha is still paying Nigeria money in debt. We are still recovering money. Have we changed the system that allowed Abacha to make money and to be paying Nigeria money 24 years after his death?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
We have not changed the system.
Ibrahim in Kaduna, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir, and good morning to your two guests here.
Sure, thank you.
In fact, you can see your two panelists, the first one has explained everything to us from the beginning to the end. Is that so? Because what we are saying is that you say that we have blessed with virtually every natural resources. The land, the green land, the sand, the hummus, the river, the stream, the ocean, and whatsoever. Is that a cost to us? Despite that, we have all the natural resources on the ground again. So despite that, Nigeria, we don't want to go to the right direction. Why? Look, Habib Ali has said it all. He has said it all. Which road are they passing? Which motor are you using? Where are they taking it to? That is a good question to Nigeria to answer. Now, to me, our government, until we have the person that we stand, the political will to do so, if not, all the effort that we are trying to bring on to, we do in the right. In fact, I'm not happy. All these things are not palatable to me this afternoon. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim, calling in from Kaduna. Yeah. We're running out of time now, but the point has been made that what is happening here is not rocket science.
Exactly, sir.
People have an idea of what's going on. Now, come on, the question of the political will to affect it.
Sir, there are certain things as Nigerians we must never accept. We mustn't allow them to bullhead these things into us. We must not accept that inflation must continue rising. Inflation must never be allowed to be a new normal in Nigeria. Insecurity must never be allowed.
Arguably, inflation is all about economics.
Wait first, okay. I'm explaining. Then even lack of refined products must never be allowed. Quote me that I said that refining is not as complex as heart surgery. And let any process engineer or chemical engineer disprove that. And we must not. It was the same tricks that were used, first of all, and our railways were killed Before we knew, you will see a tanker coming all the way from Sokoto or Kano to come to Lagos to load.
So what is that
Instead
about?
Of piping,
how efficient
principle.
is that?
Why must we allow? And these tankers now are falling on the roads, causing carnage. In fact, with even the high price of diesel, it's difficult to now transport tankers with expensive diesel in your truck than the solution is very simple. We have been on the wrong track. We need to recalibrate in national interest, and anything short of that, Nigeria will become a laughingstock, and our citizens will be seen as melancholies.
All right, as we close now, Jide, I think you have the chance of the last contribution. It's looking towards, it's such a mess, quite frankly, that the new regime that will come in, whoever is heading it, it has a chance that, and the people themselves have a chance to ask these people what they're going to do about these sort of things, where you are producing beans, but you have to import my Yes. Are we going to keep on like that? And let them answer that question, what they intend to do about the situation. It's going to come down to political will, because clearly some people's interests are going to be injured if everything were to be cleaned up and you do the right thing. That is the fact.
One, whoever is going to emerge is nothing new. It's been a part of parcel of the past. Whoever is going to emerge from the candidate, they've all been part of the system.
There's a keener awareness now.
The key factor, there can't be fiscal responsibility if there's no resource control. There can be. And what we are asking for is fiscal responsibility, where you take the money to the center first, and the center now begin to distribute the money back. There's no way somebody in Abuja can oversee the pipelines in Bayelsa. That's why we keep running away from it. Whoever is coming in must be interested in structuring this country in a way that will function. Probably they are running away from restructuring. Should structure this country in a way that is functional.
Then we've got to leave it there, quite frankly. That is a fine place to leave it. And it also is highlighting the fact that these are the questions that we need to ask about our intending presidents, the intending administrations, leaders that want to come on in. Thank you very much, Comrade Bala Zaka.
Thank you.
Energy Affairs Analyst, among other things. And thank you very much, Dr. Jide Johnson, Chief Lecturer at the NIJ, trainer of journalists. That's our program today. Please join us on Monday for a fresh edition. I'm Yori Folarin. Do have a great weekend. Bye-bye for now.